Welcome to the channel, folks. We are here. We are live with the panel for UFC 329. Everybody, this is a good card. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for this card. It's one of those where it's like, okay, Conor McGregor's coming back. This is like the casual fan is ready to tune in and throw all of their money away on Conor McGregor. So we are here, and the line movement shows it on the main event, so that's fun. Couch, what are your thoughts on this card? I know you're a big Max Holloway guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to watch Max fight. You can see it behind me right there. I got him twice. That's my guy, my favorite fighter. I love Max, but I kind of like the rest of the card more. I feel like we'll talk about it, but I don't think McGregor's gonna have much to give. Maybe he'll surprise us. It is McGregor, but other than that, I think it's a great card, and obviously it's still a great main event and a great narrative going into it. So I'm hyped.
I honestly would have rather seen. I know this is gonna sound crazy. Conor McGregor versus King Green as the fight, because I think that would have been a fight that I think like the fans really could have just like got behind all the BS going into it. It was it's a fight where like you got two guys that have been around for a long time, but because this one, I mean, we'll get to the main event here in a bit, but it is what it is. Steven, what are your thoughts on this card?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Obviously, return to the Mac. Looking forward to that. And we got a Terrence McKinney fight. Can't be mad about that either. Paddy Pimblett got some big names, so yeah, definitely stoked. And yeah, lots of people going to be tuning in.
Absolutely. And Eric, what are your thoughts on the card?
Hi guys, how you doing? This is a great card. Honestly, it's I think it's worth of the position that has been placed as a international fight week, and yeah, McGregor is a big name. You got Gable Stevenson, who has a lot of hype behind him. A couple of good names. Riley is also a prospect that people are gonna be watching, and yeah, co-main event has a lot of expectation behind it because some people talk about Benoit Saint-Denis being an on-crown BMF champion, maybe. And, Paddy's coming off a first loss in his UFC career against Gaethje, and is the only guy that has beat him. And he kind of derailed that dream match between Paddy and Ilya because he beat them both. So a lot of expectation towards especially the main card.
Absolutely. I'm going to highlight some of the chat right quick, and then we got Steven's going to give us a little update on his channel that just started. So first, shout out. Let's see. They should have given McGregor a warm up. I don't know if King Green would have been a warm up, but I do think that we are kind of on the same page. I think King Green is an easier fight than Max Holloway, and I think that would have been a great one. And so does Paul.
I think they were smart with this one because Max has kind of been hinting towards it. They're going to do another trilogy if they can milk it.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like, I feel like they could probably milk that if I mean, let's be honest, if Max wins, the trilogy's right there in their hands. So, appreciate it. I hope that, I guess, I don't know if I assume that was for me, but like, hey, whoever you're following, I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're enjoying it.
Follow all of us.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah, follow all of us. And
especially Steven.
All of us. Yeah. Steven, I want to pass it to you for a moment. You just started your new channel, Collective MMA. Tell everybody about it, kind of what the concept is, and then we'll jump into breaking down these fights.
That's right. Yeah, I'm doing a show called Fight IQ, similar to the panel here. We'll be breaking down each and every UFC card with me and the Wager Zone. Yeah, he's on YouTube. He covers all different kinds of sports, baseball, basketball, you name it. And yeah, we'll be doing interviews, more content as well. So definitely appreciate any support. And yeah, be sure to follow all these guys' pages as well. Bunch of good guys with me. Looking forward to talking about these fights with each and every one of you.
Awesome. And I also have everybody's channels linked down in the description below. If you speak Spanish, you're going to want to go check out Eric's channel. The dude's got this all done in Spanish. So let's talk about the first fight of the night. We're going to let Couch Warrior kick it off because it's his guy, Cody Durden, taking on Alessandro Costa. A short notice matchup. Costa stepping in on short notice. Couch, what are your thoughts?
Tricky fight for me. I'm a Durden guy, like you said, so I want to back Durden again, but I'm like thinking to myself, if I didn't back Durden at plus 500 against Filio because I felt like he was washed, I probably shouldn't be playing plus 200 against Costa. It's not that I think Costa's any better or worse than Filio. I do think it's a tricky matchup for Durden, though, just the way Durden fights. Durden's very aggressive. He's going to be front foot forward, and I I think the first round, he's going to do well. He's going to be backing up Costa. What I don't like about Costa is the lack of output. Costa's going to be just trying to react too much. Cody's going to lead. He's going to maybe go for some takedowns. I think Costa's a pretty good counter grappler. We don't have a ton of information in that regard. You have like Albazi shooting on him. He stuffed most of those. We don't have a lot there. Correa got him down, but Correa kind of set it up with the hands. So I don't really know how the takedown defense is going to hold up. And I just lost where I was going. Oh, yeah, I think it is relatively good, and I think he is going to be able to keep it on the feet. And then in the second round, as tends to happen to Cody, I think Cody's going to run into something. I think it's going to be a hook. I think Costa does hit really hard. Every single win he has in the UFC, whether he finished or not, he dropped his opponents, and I do think he's going to catch Durden in something. But I'm not betting on it, and I am going to root for Durden. I don't think there's enough. I don't think the odds are wide enough for me to get involved on the Durden side, and I do feel like he's still a little bit washed and declining. I don't think that's really changed.
Fair enough. All right, we got one for Costa. Eric, what are your thoughts on this one? Who do you have?
Well, I'm sorry, guys, but I'm just not a big Cody Durden guy. I think I pretty much bet against him throughout his whole UFC career. He's kind of susceptible to submissions. Last time around, everyone thought around the world that he was going to get submitted by Jaffa Fila, but Jaffa Fila is just not good. This time around, I think Costa he's been doing quite well lately against not such an amazing type of competition. You know, this guy is what's his name? The Australian guy who's like just awful.
Stuart Nickel.
Yeah,
that guy. Yeah, that
he
bum.
fights next week.
Yeah, he's a bum. Yeah, bet on whoever he's fighting against. He always loses. He hasn't won a single fight, a single round in the UFC. So he's not that good. But and then the last time around, Matt Schnell, who has like the worst chin in the world, and I don't know. I just can't bet on Durden. I think this is probably not gonna go the distance, and my pick is gonna be Nono Costa inside the distance. And I want to give a quick shout out to the people from my group they're watching right now, and one of them just said that the only couch warrior in the world is his. His name is Alexander. He's watching.
There you go.
There was another couch better that popped up for a little bit that was trying to steal my thunder.
They're all trying to steal your thunder, brother.
Dude, he was advertising on Fight Odds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
It wasn't me.
That's right. You're the real couch warrior.
The OG.
All right, so we got two of them for Costa. Steven, do you have an alternative take, or you jumping with Costa as well?
Yeah, I echo a lot of what's been said. However, just from like a straight money line standpoint, don't want to get involved. I would not lay the chalk with Costa just because fought a month ago, taking it on short notice, making the weight cuts in a short period of time. That's something that worries me a little bit. If I was to look to bet this one, I would look at a Costa inside the distance, but not sure I'm going to get to the window with this one. Might just sit on the sidelines and watch.
So we got three for Costa, and here's the deal. While I think Costa can absolutely knock out Durden or sub him, this is Costa's third fight in 4 months. Third fight in 4 months, guys, and this is another short notice fight, just like the one he took last month. That's a lot of weight cuts back to back, and that's a lot of wear and tear on the body, even if you are winning these fights, right? I think this is one of those things where we see him where that catch up with him. I think Durden puts on enough of a pace in the first round that he could play spoiler here. Now, do I think he wins more than 50% of the time? Not under normal circumstances, but when you've taken 3 fights in 4 months, you're making big weight cuts. His last one, he had to get a catch weight of 130 because he was like taking that on short notice again. But here he is, a couple of weeks later, taking another one on short notice, clear down at 125 as far as I'm able to tell. It says 125 on Tapology anyway. If that's the case, I don't know how he holds. So I'm going to take a shot at Durden on this one. Would I be surprised if he loses? Absolutely not. Especially with the way that when he does lose, it's usually he's looking really good at first, and then just the wheels all fall off at once.
It's pretty much always round 2. I double checked it just now. It's actually ridiculous. Subbed him round 2. Bruno knocked him out round 2, and he was looking good against Bruno, if I'm remembering correctly.
Speaking of that, what odds can you get on Costa round 2?
Oh, I think I looked at it today. It's either plus 400 or 500, I think.
So if you play Costa round 2 and then play Durden's money line, I feel like you're covered, right?
Yeah, until Costa knocks him out in the first punch.
See, yeah, maybe, but like I just think 3 fights in 4 months is crazy, especially for a guy that has to cut a decent amount of weight. Because like Costa's a thick dude for 125. Like he's not like big, right? Because he's what 5'4", but he's a thick dude for 125. So either way, I could see this one going either way. But give me the huge underdog with that's not taking that many fights. All right, we can move on to our next fight, which is another interesting fight between a couple of guys that are interesting to say the least. We have Ryan Gondra and Zach Reese. So for the last one we were 3-1 Costa in Durden. On this one, I bet we are going to be split as well. Eric, why don't you kick this one off? Gondra or Reese? Who do you have?
Yeah, well, my issue with both guys is that they've both been finished. They've both been KO'd. Gandra or Grandar, just can't remember the name. Gandra. He's a big puncher. He was actually able to do what Reese couldn't, which was to finish Medina, Jose Medina, the Bolivian guy. And that's probably the reason why he's a favorite, but this is a very close fight because I can't really trust both of them. I would definitely bet on the under 1.5 rounds. That would be my actual bet. I wouldn't bet on Gandra, even though I think he can actually win because I've seen Zach Reese get KO'd more times than I would like to if he's gonna be my pick. But I'm just gonna say maybe Gandra wins, but just bet on the under 1.5 rounds because that would be like the safest bet. Yeah, I mean, I just don't love the idea of betting on Gandra, who has been KO'd outside of the UFC, which is to me is a concern because if you get KO'd outside of the UFC, it means someone who is not in the UFC has been able to finish you, and that's not a good look. So because Zach Reese has been finished inside the UFC, that's my point. And when you lose inside the UFC, I mean your competition is supposed to be better because he got finished by what's his name, Bekoev, and he lost.
Brundage got him with the power bomb.
With a power bomb, yeah, with a power bomb. Because he was a jiu-jitsu nerd and he just didn't want to let go on the goddamn arm bar. And he got power bombed like Ricardo Arona and Rampage Jackson. So I just can't trust Reese sometimes. Reese. So I'm just gonna go with the under 1.5 round. Maybe this is probably gonna last just one round. Maybe Gandra, but just bet on the round one and that's it. You just have to wait for something to happen in five minutes.
Okay, one for Gondra, but only because you have to make a pick, and instead you'd rather go with the under. I like it. Steven, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this one's an interesting fight. I've backed Reese a couple of times, but I just can't see any other result in this fight other than Gandra violently knocks him out in round one. Like, if Gandra doesn't knock Reese out in round one, I'd way rather be on the Reese side. Earlier this week, he was kind of around that plus 140, plus 150 range. I think at that point, Reese, there was some value there. But at the current line, I kind of think, for me personally, it'd either be Gandra round one KO or leave it alone. But I'm probably not going to have anything on this fight personally.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be on the other side again. I got Reese, but not because it's because I don't think Gondra is very good. I hate saying that because he is in the UFC, but you look how he got here, right? I mean, he does have a win in the UFC, which is more than I'll ever be able to say for myself. But his win in the UFC is Jose Medina. Okay, it is what it is. Sure, he finished him in 41 seconds. He treated him as he should. There you go. He beat Trent Miller to get into the UFC. Trent Miller's okay, I guess. Prior to that, not a whole lot, right? Not a whole lot. And he hasn't looked really good, right? The thing I like about Reese is that, well, not a lot. So so that's not great. But I think I gotta take Reese for the simple fact that I think he is the cleaner fighter. But man, like Gondra could get him in the first couple of seconds, I guess. But I don't think he will. I don't think he will. If you look at how Reese is getting knocked out, it's not by guys coming in just swinging wild hooks like Gondra does. It's a power bomb from Cody Brundage, makes sense. And then Bekayev gets him down and just lands heavy shots from his guard. Whereas I could see Gondra catching him, but like Reese is a rangy dude, and I can see him also dragging this out just a little bit and then beating the tar out of Gondra after that. So I'm going to take Reese. It's not a confident pick, but I'm starting off the card with 2 underdogs. So look at that. There we go. Couch, what are your thoughts?
Reese is barely an underdog at this point. I'm with you on Reese. I'm kind of annoyed I didn't play him earlier because now I'm not going to play the money line, not at plus 100 when I do think he can get knocked out here. I took my time with the tape this week. I taped half the card last week and then the rest early this week. And I took my time because I've been on a down streak, a bad one. I haven't won an event in 6 cards. Yeah, so I needed the break. And I took my time to get here, and then I taped it, and I was like, okay, I do like Reese, but at that point, Reese was like plus 110, and like I'd never been a Reese guy per se. I don't think he's the greatest either. I think it's a relatively low-level fight, and I do think he's a defensive liability, and he's stiff on the feet, and his chin is way up there, and Gondra does hit hard, and he's aggressive, and he's going to fly forward, so he can definitely get him out of there, but Gondra's cardio is horrible. Yeah. It's terrible. We haven't seen it tested in a while. I think it's been, 2-3 years since he last went the distance. But if I was to guess, it's probably not much better. Just watching the way he fights, my educated guess. And I think he's going to be a mess. Like, look at the one time recently that he made it to round 3, the one I was talking about. I mean, he was barely walking. He was just completely flat-footed. He was just standing there. And if that other guy was any good at all, he would have probably finished Gondra, but he wasn't any good at all. I think Reese is going to finish him late. And that's my personal prediction. And I kind of think it's going to be a sub because I feel like Reese is also going to get a little tired. And I think he's kind of just going to be clinching him up late. I think he's going to drag him down and like rear naked him or something. And I think Reese is going to get it done. I like the 2-3 props. Round 3 is like plus 1,700. Round 2 was like plus 800 or 900. I like those. He could maybe finish early, but I think if Reese is going to win, it's going to be a little bit later.
There we go. All right, 2 for 2. One other thing I need to mention I forgot about is Gondra was originally going to be brought. He was supposed to be the B-side to Vitor Costa on the Contender Series, but that fight fell through. And then because he got an impressive enough win with the fill-in Trent Miller, that's what got him into the UFC. He was supposed to be the guy that was getting brought in to get murdered by Vitor Costa. So keep that in mind.
Vitor Costa, is that the one who lost to Pinos?
No.
Was that a different Costa?
Yeah. Vitor Costa, who did he beat? Because he beats he won on the Contender Series. Who did he beat? He beat he did lose to Pinos. You're right.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, you're right. No, he did lose to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. That's right. I was trying to remember that. I was like, wait a minute, because Costa was hyped up. I think he was supposed to beat Pinos as well, but he did not.
I think it was like close to pick him.
Yeah,
I was on Pinos. I remember close line.
You gotta be careful when you say that,
dude. On my show, I slipped.
I know, I heard it,
and then I couldn't control myself. I was cracking up. I was so embarrassed.
Dude, you had me laughing too. It's okay. All right, we can move on. We got another short notice fight here, and this one I haven't given my opinion because it wasn't in my full card breakdown. Considering I have those out like a week in advance. In fact, I've already got my UFC Oklahoma City card up. I put that out last night for channel members. So if you're a channel member, you get that now. But if you're not a channel member, you'll get it on Sunday. Anyway, this was the one that didn't make the card this week for me. But we're gonna let Steven kick it off. It's Farid Basharat and John Garza. John Garza taking this fight on short notice after Ethan Ewing pulls out. Steven, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this fight's interesting. Like, taping Garza, there's honestly quite a bit to like there. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it's hard to compare his competition to what he's going to be facing this weekend against a undefeated guy who's got a couple of quality wins in the UFC, but he walks forward wants to get in your face, throw some hands, kind of that, I don't know, Cub Swanson, Joshua Van, like that boxing sort of attack. So I do think there's a lot to like. I do think this is a tall task for him, though. I also think that, you know, the fact that Basharat, I'm going to say, is only minus 600 does kind of show some things that there is some respect for Garza, that, you know, the line isn't completely like Gable Stevenson's line. Well, obviously we'll get there eventually, but yeah, I think I got to take Basharat here, but I'm going to keep my eye on Garza. I think he's definitely got some skills, and there's some things to like about him.
Fair enough. Yeah. Looking at like the competition for Garza, I mean, Kevin Rosas might be his best win so far. That I can see anyway. I'm going back to look at it right now. Yeah, Kevin Rosas probably his best win.
Definitely his best win.
Definitely a good win. Like, that's like, as far as regional competition, that's a good win. I do think Garza is good. I just don't know. I mean, you're taking a Fareed Basharat, and like, the dude's undefeated for a reason and has good wins. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna make a debut against somebody and you're going to be able to like put on a good showing for yourself but still lose, this might be the spot, because Basharat will do this thing where he beats you, but just by enough to beat you. Like, he's not going to go out there and just mop the floor with most guys. He's done it before, but it's been a while. Like, the Contender Series might have been the last time. Maybe. I can't remember. I don't think he's just mopped the floor with anybody in the UFC. So, you know, like, this is a fight where Garza can look good in a loss, but like, it's one of those things where like Basharat can outstrike he can outstrike a lot of people, and anybody he can't outstrike, he can outgrapple. Like, the way he was able to take down Taylor Lapillus right there just gives me enough confidence to say that if it doesn't go his way on the feet, Basharat can get the takedowns, because Garza's tough on the feet. Like, the dude's going to come forward and throw hands at you. Like, he's gonna lay hands on you if he can, and I think Basharat can just mix in the takedowns when he needs to. So yeah, for me it's Basharat, but yeah, Garza's got a good shot at getting some wins in the future. I got to shout out Derek Izzy real quick. He is a channel member, so shout out to the channel members, keeping the dream alive. So yeah, glad you're here. Better late than never, my brother. Better late than never. Couch, what are your thoughts on this short notice fight?
So when I first saw this, I was really bummed because I'm a Ewing guy. I played him against Wellmaker. I played him in his next one against what's his name? I forget. When he got the finish, and I was really hyped for this one because personally, I thought Ewing was in it. What did you say?
Esteban.
Yes.
Rafael Esteban.
Yes, yes. And then going into this one, I kind of felt like Ewing was going to cook, but whatever. And then I saw Garza, and I saw people just roasting him in his Tapology profile, and they were like, "Oh, look at this kid fighting Basharat." So I was like, okay, like, I guess he's probably not that good. And I saw the line, and then I taped him, and like, yo, Garza's good.
He's good.
This dude's nice. His hands are nasty. He's got really nice striking. He's fast. He's powerful. He's got body work. You guys know I'm a sucker for body work. And his counter grappling, we don't have a lot of information, and he's more than likely going to get out grappled, sure. But like, he's 23 years old. He's going to be improving. And from what I've seen so far, he reacts very quickly when someone's shooting on him. He's got good hips. He's got a good sprawl. He uses his underhooks well. If you start to re-wrestle, you can get him. And again, I do think Basharat's going to get takedowns, and realistically, he's going to win the fight. But at these odds, you kind of have to throw a flyer on Garza. In my opinion, you kind of have to. I think even though it's his debut, he's the better striker. He's the better striker. I think he's the more dangerous striker. I think I think that one issue I've always had with Fareed is that his output just isn't that great, and he's not going to separate in a lot of fights. And another thing with him is if you look at it, he loses a lot of third rounds. He does slow down a little bit. He's got good cardio, enough to get the job done. Don't get me wrong. And beating Taylor Lapillus is a very good thing. I'm a big Taylor Lapillus guy, but he does slow down. He lost round 3 against Matsumoto. He lost round 3 against Blackshear. He lost round 3 against what's his name? I'm blanking. And then he on one judge's scorecard, he lost round 3 to Hugo. So far from Garza, I've seen pretty good cardio. He is on short notice. He is going to get grappled probably like he's never been grappled before. So maybe he gets tired too. But I think he's going to have his chances. And I think at this number, it's worth taking a flyer on him.
I don't blame you.
If he wins this, you're never going to get anything like this on him again. Yeah, even if he loses this, I don't think you're going to get a line on this again, because I think he's going to have a good career.
Yeah, like I was saying, this is a great spot for him to look good even in a loss. So, Eric, what are your thoughts?
Pretty much, you kind of summed what I was thinking. Because like the first thing that comes to my mind is the fact that the last person that actually beat Taylor Lapis was Farid Basharat.
Yeah,
he played super safe because he knew he was gonna get out strike by Taylor, who's a great kickboxer. But I mean, I don't know much about Garza. I know it's a wide line. I don't know, but I just feel that this is either gonna be one of those one-sided boring fights that Farid is kind of used to put on. I mean, he barely beat Gene Matsumoto. That was a split decision that went his way. I just don't see Garza pulling off the opposite. This is probably gonna go all 3 rounds. If I would bet something on Farid Basha, it would be maybe he wins and over 1.5 rounds, or he wins and round 3 starts, something like that, to get a better line. But I just don't see like maybe if there's gonna be a finish. Garza got knocked out, but Farid is not a puncher. So right. It's if there's gonna be a finish, it's gonna be a submission. But I think it's gonna be Farid Basharat by decision / submission. That would be like a kind of like a way to get a better number on it. But I just don't see an opposite, not yet. Later on, yeah, I see something.
I wonder what we could get on decision no action on Garza, because I think if it ends inside the distance, it's probably Garza winning. But
I wouldn't put it past Bosch. It could be severe levels on the mat, and Basharat could just slice through him.
Yeah,
he only has that one sub over Cleveland,
but 400
on Garza.
Yeah, that ain't bad.
I prefer the money line, but I get it.
Yeah, I did. Like, part of me just thinks it's gonna be one of those classic Basharat take you down and just like do enough to win. So
probably what happens.
We can move on. We all kind of think Farid probably might win or probably wins, but the value could be on the other side. Moving on. Damian Pinas takes on Cesar Almeida. I'm going to go ahead and kick this one off. And this is an interesting one because I do think Almeida is the far more technical striker. I just don't know that it's going to matter. I think Almeida is going to look great until he doesn't. It's just one of those things where I think that Pinas is physical enough to make up for where he lacks, and he does seem to be picking stuff up quickly. I know that you look at him fight and you're like, he's okay, right? You see him and he's clearly got power. The dude has lead in his fists, I swear. It's crazy. And he's got a good head kick too. But the problem is it's just he doesn't look super technical when he's doing it, and he's going against a guy that is a technical kickboxer. But then again, even technical kickboxers get hit. Go back and look at Cesar Almeida's career so far in the UFC. He's been hit in every fight. So, and it only takes one from Damian. So I think it's going to be one of those things where the Baba Yaga comes in and just, even if he doesn't look as technical, that doesn't matter. I'm going to take the Baba Yaga to get it done by a brutal knockout. Almeida could be live, but he needs to be perfect, and I don't know that that's going to be the case. Couch, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna call him Damien to avoid any mistakes again.
I called him the Baba Yaga.
Yeah, I know why you did that, but so this is another one where I do wish I took the earlier lines on Pinas when he was minus 180. I think that would have been a good bet. It took me too long to decide, and I did tape this one actually relatively early. I think he's so green still. And Cesar Almeida at the end of the day is a good kickboxer. And I'm not convinced that Pinas is going to have the cardio to go 3 rounds against competent guys yet. It's possible that he does. I just don't really know. And at chalk, I get uncomfortable with that kind of thing. So I passed. Now I'm definitely passing on the minus 250. I don't see a ton of value at this point. But I think there's a lot to like about him. Super athletic, super powerful. Pretty good striking so far. He's not one of these guys who's just athletic, but he's swinging wild. He's actually pretty clean. He was training at good camps, Nova União, and now I think he's at Extreme Couture. And his grappling's green, and defensively, we don't know a ton yet about it. Just that, again, it's green. But low key offensively, I think he has a lot of potential. I think if he put himself in a wrestling room for like half a year, like this guy could actually be really good. Because the few times you see him actually wrestle and go for his own takedowns, like he's kind of slick. And again, he's very athletic. He's got the build for it. So I think his grappling can actually get really good, and he's still young. So it could be a path for him against Almeida. I mean, Almeida, we all know, is not difficult to take down. My GOAT, Igor Pateria, was taking him down. I think that if Pinas has the cardio to do it, it's a path. That's the question mark for me is, can he do it for 15 minutes if it comes to it? I don't know. I've seen him go for chokes. Maybe he can get the sub. Plus 1,000's kind of tempting. But I think there's one other way I kind of want to target it. And what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at his takedown props, the overs on his takedown props, because I imagine they're not going to make it like chalky or anything. I mean, he doesn't really wrestle. He normally just goes for the knockout. But I think it could be a sneaky look here. So we'll see what they line in it there. And other than that, I don't think there's much. I don't hate Pinas round 1 knockout either. It's like it was plus 300. It's like plus 280 now. I don't hate that at all. I think that's probably the most likely outcome. But again, I could kind of see a sub happening too. So I'd be careful. At that point, I would just take round 1 at like plus 220 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and you can tell Damian's been wrestling because he's used like a really nasty whizzer on people more than once, where you're like, man, that could rip a shoulder right out, you know? So he's obviously training wrestling pretty actively to be that adept for that. So, but Eric, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, this was kind of tough for me because I'm kind of high on the Baba Yaga, Pinas, but also I have to respect a couple of things about Almeida. Number one, they both defeated Vitor Costa.
Yep.
In case you guys didn't know that, they both knocked Costa out on his debut and on his last fight, both Almeida and Pinas. The other thing that I have to respect about Almeida is the fact that he went 3 fights with Pereira in kickboxing and didn't get knocked out. And he actually pulled one through and he beat Pereira in kickboxing. If this stays on the feet, I think Almeida has a chance. If this stays on the feet, because both times that Almeida has been defeated in the UFC is because he has been controlled on the ground. Last fight, it was against the brother of Oleg Seychuk. Cesare, yeah. And the other one was Kopylov, who all of a sudden he remembered he was Russian and, 2-3 years in Dagestan and forget. And he did the unthinkable. He started grappling. He's known as a striker, and he just grappled his way to victory. He kind of GSP his way to victory in that fight. So I just don't know exactly what the toolbox for the Baba Yaga is. I don't know much about him. I like the guy. I think he's a very good fighter. He has power in his hands. Guy's 24 years old, guys. So take that for what it's worth. There's a 14-year gap between Almeida and the Baba Yaga. I like calling him the Baba Yaga. It's kind of funny because I'm a big John Wick fan. In case you guys don't know, the Baba Yaga is how they used to call John Wick in the movies. So I'm gonna go with the Baba Yaga. If somehow he gets a knockout, I don't think it's gonna be in round 1. I think Cesar can hold on to the second round, probably over 1.5 rounds. I just don't see like a quick knockout. He has the Pinas has 1 loss, but it was via disqualification because of some illegal kick. So I don't know. Maybe he was too green at that time and he made a mistake and cost him. But I still believe that there's some talent there, and I really need to see his toolbox, because the last time not before the fight that went with Cesare, Cecilia was fighting Abdul Razak Al Hazan, and he got clipped really bad in that fight. He had to solve his way to a knockout there, but he got clipped. So maybe the Baba Yaga can catch him with something. I don't know. So my prediction is gonna be Baba Yaga winning by knockout, maybe round 2.
A knockout round 2. All right. So far, 3 of us for Damian. Steven, do you have a opposite take, or are you still with us?
We'll call it a sweep. I will take Damian Pinas as well. From the betting standpoint, though, not sure there's a lot of value. I kind of echo some of the things that Coach said. I think you could look at a round 1 KO, maybe a round 1, or maybe just touching the KO prop. I kind of have a thought in the back of my head, kind of what TKODDS was saying. Like, if Pinos doesn't get him out of there, like, what does this fight look like as it goes on? I mean, as you mentioned, right, Almeida, he's been in there with Alex Pereira in kickboxing. He's had a couple of okay wins in the UFC. So, yeah, this is one that I'm probably going to stay away from. But if anything, I'd be looking at a KO prop for Damien.
Yeah, what's crazy though is if you look at just MMA experience, technically Damien has more.
True.
He's got, or as far as pro fights go, I guess I don't know what their amateurs look like, but that's not quite how it really shakes out in real life. So there's that. But yeah, as far as just sheer number of fights, Damien has more pro fights. But
MMA cage time though, Almeida has more, right?
He's got to, yeah, because Damien's finished what, like 8 of his 10 fights in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 of them went to the second round, I think, something like that. And what the one he did lose, Eric mentioned it. Yeah, he like soccer kicked the dude in the head when he was down, essentially, which is definitely against the rules. So yeah, whoops. You got to be in like Ryzen to do that, man. So he just was like, nah, we'll just go for it. But you know, you live and learn. That's all right. Live, laugh, love, right? Let's move on to the next one. We've got the women's flyweights up next. Let's see who started. Did I start the last one? Yeah, I did. Okay, so that means Couch is on this one. Tracy Cortez and Wong Chung, I think is how you're supposed to say that, because like
now you're just showing off.
It's like a tia sound or whatever.
You know full well I'm gonna say Kong Wang, so you're just being a prick.
Kong Wang is definitely not it, because the A sound is not an A, like it's a ah. Like it's like instead of Shanghai, it's Shanghai. Like I know that, and it's the same like A pronunciation, but like I'm so bad. So like back when I used to run the gym, there was a gal that was like she was going to college here, but she was from China. And she would always help me with the Chinese pronunciations, but I haven't talked to her since I stopped running the gym. So, like that's a shame. So I'm not as good on my Chinese pronunciations now, but I'm doing my best. But either way, Couch, let's hear your breakdown on this one.
I don't know what to make of this fight. Honestly, I spent too much time taping it, and I think I just confused myself because I really don't know. I think it's really binary. I think that they both show problems that the other can take advantage of. I think that Kong Wang still is a poor grappler defensively, and I'm not sure how much that's improving at this point. She's 34 years old. Like, she's been a team alpha male, and she just did not look good against Mora. Like, it didn't. Now, I did notice one thing. You know, she popped most of the time when Mora took her down, and we really only have the Mora fight to work with when we're talking about grappling. I mean, other women have attempted it. They weren't really great grapplers. Mora's a solid grappler, very good jiu-jitsu. And when you watch it, whenever Mora took her down, if Wang could find the fence, she's back up. She's right back up. The one time she got flattened out and she couldn't get to the cage, that was the second round. That's when she just couldn't get up at all. That's when she was in all kinds of trouble, and that's the round that she lost in that fight. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, Tracy's probably, she does not have great fight IQ, but she does have good coaches behind her. Santino does have good understanding of fights and good game planning. Do his fighters always listen? No, but he tries, and he's a good coach. I think he's going to know this. I think he's going to tell her to shoot in open space. And if she does take her down against the cage, I think we're going to see Cortez try to pull her away from it. And if she's doing that, I do think she's going to have success. And I do think she can compete on the feet, only if she's mixing in those takedowns and working it that way. On the other hand, I think that while Cortez is a solid striker, a solid boxer, I think Kong Wang is a lot better than her. I think she's a lot faster than her. I think the speed's going to give her major problems. I think the footwork's going to give her major problems. And Cortez has never fought a striker like this. I guess Rose is a really good striker, but I think she's just different. And Rose dropped her. Keish dropped her. Kong Wang, again, I think is just a different kind of striker. I think she maybe hits harder than both of those women. Keish for sure. Rose we can argue about, but I mean, Rose did come up a weight class. So I think Wang probably hits harder. And also, when has anybody ripped to Cortez's body? Ever? When have we ever seen anybody use body work against Tracy? When has she ever had to deal with that? I don't think she ever has. Kong Wang does. She rips to the body. You don't see that much in this weight class, but she does. And she'll rip those knees, the kicks, the uppercut to the body. So I do lean Kong Wang's way. I do lean her way. I think she can probably pop to her feet more often than not. I do like her striking advantage, the speed advantage, and I also just don't trust Tracy. She's a fighter that's very difficult for me to trust. I do think she's very highly skilled, but I don't trust her a lot, and I think there's actually a decent chance she gets at least dropped, if not knocked out in this fight. So I'm gonna rock with Wang.
There we go, rocking with Wang. He says, let's go with Eric. What's your opinion on this fight?
Yeah, I gotta be honest, guys. I'm not a huge Tracy Cortez guy. I've kind of followed her career, and she has fought exactly. I can count it. She has fought, I think, 7 times since the pandemic times, since 2020. She fought Stephanie Eger. I don't know who that is. I think she beat Eileen or something. I don't know. Justin Kish. I think that girl was in Bellator. Melissa Gatto. That was a kind of like a fishy fight. I kind of saw Gatto winning. Then she beat Jasmine Jasovich in a show that was called Mexico is Supposed to Win against Jasmine, and in a striking fight. We all know Jasmine has the striking of, I don't know, someone that's not a good level. She's a grappler, but they decided to exchange, and then she hit reality when she faced a top level fighter like Rose Namajunas, and she was more paying more attention to her eyelashes, and she kind of lost one. And then fought Viviane Araujo, which is like the least reliable flyweight fighter in the planet. And then she went against Erin Blanchfield, who she had defeated in the past via split decision, and Blanchfield just was like levels above her. So that being said, I'm not the most Kong Wang pro guy, but she has looked decent in her last couple of fights against Ariane Lipsky, who I think already retired from MMA. Berna Brazil, who is like the queen of inconsistency, and Eduarda Mora, who's a good fighter, but she was just not up for the task. I'm gonna go with Kong Wang because, again, I'm not a huge Tracy Cortez type of guy. She's more like a social media personality. I don't think she's that good. She hasn't looked that good lately. So I'm gonna go with Kong Wang, but honestly, I will stay away from this fight.
All right, we gotta stay away, but both guys are on Wang so far. Steven, what side are you on?
I'm gonna echo a lot of what Mike and TKODDS just said, and I am gonna call her Kong Wang. So Tyler will let you show us up with the pronunciations here. But
I probably got it wrong too. Don't worry.
I want to say, like what Couch said. I'm in the same boat, brother. Like watching tape on this fight, like I was like, not saying all like Max bet or anything, but I was like, yeah, Kong Wang's gonna style on her. She's gonna defend the takedowns. She's pretty physically strong. Like not the best takedown defense, but she is like quite strong. I think she's a good, like very good athlete for the division. But the more I sort of like think about it, like I don't know, I can see Cortez, like if she can get the takedowns right, like lay and pray, like milk that clock, like, and like you said, it's binary. If she is getting the takedowns, she's gonna look like a massive favorite, and if she can't, Wang's gonna piece her up, look like a massive favorite. Drop her, I wouldn't be shocked. Get a knockout, wouldn't shock me either. So, and Cortez, again, I'm not a big fan either. She kind of strikes me as a head case, always has. I do think she is taking her career more seriously and going to Mexico City and leaving where she was training. I do like that. But yeah, this is a tough fight to call. I'm gonna stick with my gut and go with Kong Wang. But yeah, this is a binary one for sure. Might wait to see where the odds go. See, maybe if I can get Kong Wang at plus money, I might consider that. Right now, it's sort of going back and forth and there's some line movement going each way. So might wait a little bit and see where it ends up settling.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna make it a sweep. I'm gonna go with Wang, but like I think it comes down to the sidekick because she uses a sidekick a lot to get her distance right. And if Tracy starts catching that sidekick instead of just like eating it, I feel like all of a sudden the fight changes, because then even if she stops throwing the side kick, she now is going to struggle. Wong, that is going to struggle to get her distance right, because that is what she uses most of the time to gauge distance. Whereas a lot of people use a jab, she uses that side kick. So I think it's going to come down to that a lot. But I do think she's going to be okay with that. I think she's going to be able to get the leg back. She's very quick with it. She'll get the leg back more often than not and probably be all right. So there we go. We swept it. 4-4. Let's move on to the next one. Eric's taking us away on this one. We've got Kai Kamaka III taking on Luke Riley, the undefeated prospect, which, mentioned Patty just a minute ago in the chat. So one of his buddies is Luke Riley. So there you go. Eric, kick us off here. What do you got?
Yeah, thanks to Ryan Son 741 for saying that I speak better English than Patty.
You're an English teacher, right?
Yeah, I'm a translator.
There you're a translator.
Yeah, interpreter. Okay, so I'm a huge Luke Riley fan. Guy has been looking great. He saw some adversity in that first fight in the UFC against what's his name again? Bogdan Grad. Bogdan Grad. But then he kind of solved the puzzle in the second round with a knockout. And then he went 3 rounds with Aswell, who is a tough task for anyone, and has never been knocked out or anything like that. Here Kamaka, he was outside of the UFC for a couple of years. He went to PFL, didn't look bad, but he didn't. He ended up not winning the whole competition thing when they used to have like a reward at the end of the day, at the end of the tournament. It was like a tournament, right? It was like a playoffs and stuff. Stupid Francis Ngannou took them to bankruptcy. But yeah, Kamaka has had wins outside of the UFC, but he lost to Diego Randao, who fought Conor McGregor. And that last fight against Dakota Hope, he just didn't look great. He took the decision, the split decision. But you know how it is when you're debuting in the UFC, you're supposed to lose. I'm a huge Luke Riley fan. I think he either gets a clean decision or he could even get a knockout on this fight. So if I'm gonna say there's a lock on this card, Luke Riley is one of them for sure.
There we go. We got one very confident Luke Riley pick to start it off. Steven, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of think you got to trust the prospect here and go Luke Riley. There has been a fair amount of money coming in on Kamaka, that line sort of crashing on Riley a little bit. So I think maybe if you're wanting to play him, maybe wait a little bit until you can get a bit of a better line. But yeah, I think he's the goods. I think he's got some good hands here. And yeah, as TKODDS mentioned, like Kamaka, there was some things that were okay in his last fight. There was some things that weren't as good. And him, having Eric Nixick as a head coach, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of how Eric Nixick's fighters fight. I find a lot of them, since they do so much sparring, they come out and sometimes they almost look like they're sparring in the cage. Kamaka does, he likes to brawl, so he's not quite as bad in that regard. But yeah, I think Riley wants to come out here, show out, get a knockout on the same card as his boy Paddy Pimblett. And yeah, I think that's what we see, either a clean decision or I could see maybe a TKO.
Fair enough. Okay, so we've got 2 for Luke Riley. I think it's going to be a decision because Kamaka he's really hard to get out of there. Like I know he's been knocked out in the past, but like it was forever ago. And even when he is losing, it's usually a razor thin split decision. In fact, how many of his losses are split decisions? Hold on, I'm going to pull this up because it's a lot. It's like he's got 7 losses. Let's see. 5 of them are decisions. How many of those are splits? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of his, yeah.
And a draw.
Yeah, and a draw, exactly. And the only time he's been knocked out was Jonathan Pierce, and it was a TKO via ground and pound type of thing. So, like, man, Kamaka fights close, like really close. So I don't know that Riley's going to knock him out. If he does, I'd be super impressed. Like that'd be really impressive. But I do think Luke Riley's going to win. But like I see why money's coming in at Kamaka, because the dude seems to just be he's like a hard fight for anybody. So yeah, I mean, I could see Kamaka pulling it off. I remember when he was making his re-debut against Dakota Hope, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, you can parlay up Kai Kamaka." I said, maybe not, because he was a big favorite. I kept telling everybody, like, Dakota Hope's going to bring it here, and he sure did. It was a close fight. But that's the thing. Kamaka is going to have a close fight with most people. Most of his fights are close fights. That's just the way he fights. So yeah, I mean, this is probably one I just watch, but I do think Luke Riley wins more often than not. But probably a decision. And Luke Riley decision probably has decent odds. I don't know. I didn't look. But Couch, what do you think?
I've been mowing Kamaka play. I do think the line's wide. I think the line's definitely wide. I mean, Luke Riley has not improved his counter grappling so far. Like, his takedown defense is terrible. He's just not a good counter grappler, which is weird considering who he trains with. And I mean, he's literally with Patty. But I mean, Patty also has bad takedown defense. We're going to talk about that later. So I guess maybe that's why. But his counter grappling is not good, and that's a concern. Now, if I knew that Kai was going to come out there and wrestle, I'd probably bet him, because I do think he can compete here on the feet too. Like, Luke Riley's going to be a lot sharper, a lot faster, but Kai has really good leg kicks, and he does use them often. If he's ripping those leg kicks and using his jab, because he has a good jab too, I do think he can slow down Riley. I do think he can start to work his way into it, and he's a good striker in his own right. He does throw a good amount of volume. He doesn't have like knockout power, but he's got enough to hurt guys at times, and I don't love Luke Riley's defense either when he's coming in. So I do think there's paths for Kamaka here, but the Dakota Hope fight kind of turned me off. I was on Kamaka against Hope, and I expected better from him there. Like, Hope's not bad. He's athletic. He's explosive. Seems like a solid prospect. He's tough. He brings it. But, like, he's very sloppy, and I kind of thought that Kai Kamaka should kind of outwork him and start to style on him as the fight went on, and it was very close, and he got rocked bad at one point, and you know, if he's swinging like that, if he's getting into a wildfire fight like that with Riley, he's going to get knocked out, I think. I know he's very durable, but he has gotten hurt. He got hurt against Hope, and Riley's sharp. So if he's coming in here and just brawling, I think Riley's going to put him away. So I am going to pick Riley, because I think that's exactly what Kai Kamaka is going to do. But I am considering the underdog shot. I do think the line's wide. I do think that Kamaka's got a chance. It's going to require good game planning.
That's true. There we go. We're all on Riley with varying levels of confidence. Let's see. Moving right along, Steven's taking it away on this one. We've got a matchup between a couple of guys who probably just want to go out there and box each other. So we could probably just give them some boxing gloves and let them go. Cody Garbrandt, Adrian Yanez. What are your thoughts on this one, Steven?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty interesting fight with Yanez in his last fight, a fight that I thought he won pretty clearly, going to a draw. And then on the other end, you had Cody No Love Garbrandt, who also had one of the weirdest fights I've ever watched. I actually bet him there, just a little small shot, and that was one of the luckiest catches I've ever had, no doubt about that. So I think obviously Cody's been on the decline for the last little while now. I think that's pretty clear. Most people would agree with that. So I think he'll come out like he typically does, and in his last fight, like in the first couple minutes, you know, he'll look quick. He'll be looking to throw some hands. But then after that, he just doesn't really do a whole lot. He just, you know, wants to kind of skate around the outside, do a few emotes, and he's happy to lose a decision. So, or that's kind of what it seems like. So for me here, I definitely think Yanez is the pick. And as far as like a bet, I would maybe look at a 2-3 KO prop for Yanez, something along that. Like some people or a lot of people that I've talked to are going Yanez round 1 KO. I could see it, but personally, I think round 2-3 is more realistic. So I think that could be a sneaky play.
I like it. You know, I'm glad you mentioned the last couple of fights for these guys, because both of those fights I got absolutely saved. I had Garbrandt. I bet him against Zhao Long or Long Zhao, however you say it, whatever order that is. And oh man, I got so lucky. And then also I bet Ricky Simone against Yanez. And I was like, when they were about to read the cards, I was like, oh man, I'm cooked. And then it was read it off as a draw, and I'm like, my bet pushes, we're good to go. So I got saved on both of those, and that's not usually the case. So that was not actually. I take that back. I've been saved on quite a few. So I'll be honest where that is. There's been a few I've been saved on, but yeah, those two for sure. Man, I just can't unsee how poor Garbrandt looked in that last fight, and I'm a big Garbrandt fan. I'm like a big Garbrandt fan because I don't know if any of you guys have read his book. But like, man, the dude's story is like, it's pretty good. It's a gosh darn good read. So if you haven't, I'd recommend it. It's great. But so I root for him, but like, man, I just don't see it. And like Yanez seems to have more in the tank at this point. Garbrandt just hasn't looked good in a while, and it's a shame. So yeah, I'll take Yanez. Couch, what do you think?
Forgot to unmute myself. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I like Yanez. Like Steve said, I like Yanez 2-3. I think that's probably the way to target it. I never thought I'd see the day where Yanez is just chilling as a minus 420 favorite. He's just a pure boxer. He's a good boxer. He's got fast hands. I like his work, but like, I'm generally uncomfortable with pure strikers being such big favorites because they don't often have a plan B. And in theory, when Cody Garbrandt is on, he's got some tools so that he can used to win this fight. And like, if you look at the Barcelos fight, I was on Garbrandt against Barcelos, and he won that first round. He looked good, and then he slowed down hard, and then he didn't look so good, and he ended up giving away the fight. And then last fight, he looked horrendous. I don't know what on earth happened. I just remember kind of like, I didn't have any money on it, so I kind of spaced out, and I just tuned back in, and Cody's winning, gets the decision, and I was like, what happened? Like, he did not win that fight. So yeah, I won't waste much more time. I think, like Steve said, like Yanez could probably put him out early too, but Cody's going to run. You know, he uses his footwork. He's going to go in circles. He's going to do his emoting, like Steve said. And then I think sooner or later, Yanez is going to start to cut the cage, start to get closer. He's going to start to land. And then 2 or 3, I think he's going to put him away.
There we go. So far, 3-0 on the Yanez side. Eric, what do you got?
Okay, first thing I'm going to say is that I hate this matchup. I think it's not an attractive matchup because, I mean, there's kind of like a lose-lose situation for Yanez if he wins this fight because he's such a big favorite. And if he wins, people are going to say, yeah, he beat a washed-up Cody Garbrandt. And if he loses, people are going to say, oh, he lost to a washed-up Cody Garbrandt. So there's not much there's not a win inside for him in this fight. I mean, the logical pick would be Yanez. I just don't like the line because I don't see him as a minus 400 favorite. Because I have my rules and my patterns whenever I'm picking fighters, and the last 2 losses in Cody Garbrandt's career were against people who were able to take him down. Barcelos, who's a decorated grappler, and Figueiredo, who is a former champion and is a very good grappler as well. Yanez is a striker, 100%. Like he has nothing else to offer. He's just a striker, and Garbrandt is a very good striker with a terrible chin. So that's it's a fight that I would prefer to watch. And me personally, I love doing live betting. I don't bet before the fight starts. I always do live betting based on what I have. I then decide like, okay, I'm gonna bet on this guy on the second round because I don't see any changes. But if somehow Cody Garbrandt makes it to to like kind of like take that line that minus 400 something down to something better, then there's a chance that he might actually win. But the logical pick will be Yanez because he has seen better times lately. I mean, he almost technically you can say that he beat Ricky Simon. He was just not supposed to. He was just not supposed to win that fight because they were in Ricky Simon's hometown, and you know how it is. This is scripted, guys. In case you didn't know, UFC is scripted.
Sometimes it seems like it.
There are fights that you're supposed to lose, but sometimes they kind of rip the script and shit. And the other concern that I have is that the last win in Adrian Yanez's career was some flyweight called Benicio Salvador, who is no longer in the UFC. So that's, to me, that's a concern. So again, I'm gonna pick him. Great. I mean, he should win, but I would never bet on Adrian Yanez, whose last win was in 2024 against a flyweight. I would never bet on that guy before the fight or put him in a parlay. It's just not gonna happen. Don't do it.
Heard that. Preaching it, brother. Okay, we can move right along, and I believe I'm kicking this one off, which is interesting. It's great. I'm glad I get to kick this one off because we've got Gable Steveson taking on Elisha Ellison, and this one is. So I want Elisha Ellison to win because he seems like a good guy. Like he seems like an all right dude, and Gable Steveson kind of seems like a dirtbag. Just kind of seems like a real dirtbag. And I would love to see him get flatlined, but he's probably not going to. He's probably going to go out there and win and make it look really easy. And that's a shame, but it's probably. I mean, like, I'm
the first guy to say it's MMA when you have a plus whatever 1,000 favor, but
right. I mean, I don't like to speak in absolutes. As they say, only the Sith deal in absolutes, which in itself is an absolute, which is I always love that. So. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, like, Steveson probably wins this fairly easily, but I would sure love to see him just get flatlined. So either way, there you go. Steveson, I guess. Couch, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Stevenson's going to win. It comes down to, is it going to be KO or sub? I see a lot of people very confident in KO, and I don't see why it can't be sub either. The line's not enough for me to get involved on the sub. It's like plus 200, plus 250. To me, it seems like Gable Stevenson's still kind of picking up the jiu-jitsu aspect of it, so it's probably a KO. But I'd be careful is my only point here, I guess, to make is I'd be careful playing KO1, laying chalk on it, and he's going to knock him down or push him down and then go on top and get an arm triangle, and you're going to be like, damn it. So that's all I got here.
There you go. Eric, do you have anything to add on that one?
Well, yeah, there's not much value in this fight. Like this is like boxing. It reminds me of boxing. Right. I'm not sure if you remember the one time that we talked, and I said that boxing is like the easiest sport to bet because most of the time favorites win, and there's not that many opposites. This is a case of Gable Steveson is supposed to go out there and get this guy out of there like in the first 2 minutes. I mean, this is probably going to go, if you want to take some value, if you want to take some risk, take the under 0.5. And that this is probably going to end up in the first 2 minutes of the first round. That's what I see. If you want to find value, just bet on it because this is not going to go to the second round. Never.
Yeah, unlikely it goes to the second round. No. Steven, anything to add?
Yeah, not much to add here, fellas. I tend to agree. Like, yeah, if you want to look at as a under 1.5 as a parlay piece or the under half a round, I think that's kind of it. Not a whole lot of value here. I mean, yeah, biggest favorite in UFC history. Hey, we have seen crazier things happen. I've seen a minus 10,000 get triangled in LFA. Crazy things do happen, but yeah, I'm not sure if Ellison's the guy to pull off the upset. So yeah, I guess Stevenson by first round knockout.
There we go. We got through it. Next one. Gosh, this is another fight that's just bonkers. Robert Whittaker, who entered the UFC as a welterweight, is now coming all the way up to light heavyweight after, of course, being a middleweight for a long time, to take on Nikita Krylov, who at one point was a heavyweight. Big time differences here. And Couch, I'm sure you have a lot of feelings on Krylov outside of his fighting, just with his kind of odd relationship with Ukraine. But what are your thoughts on the fight as it is?
Yeah, I won't talk about the geopolitics too much. He's got the Ukraine flag, but he doesn't claim us, so that's all that is. But I've always liked Krylov. I was high on him in his return, and then he got knocked out twice in a row because he decided, let me just try to strike with guys who can knock me out and not use my best aspect, which is his grappling. And against Modestas, he also barely grappled. He did a little bit. I was on him there too, and I was glad to get the win, but I think he's washed. I think he's washed. I think we've seen the best of him. And, I keep hearing all week, like, Whittaker's washed. How could you bet Whittaker here? Like, Whittaker up a weight class. That I understand. I'll talk about it. But if we're going to call Whitaker washed, like Krylov is also washed, but only one of these guys was ever a world champion caliber fighter, and it wasn't Krylov. It was Whitaker. So it's like, I think there's levels of washed. I think both of them are declining. I think Krylov is more far gone than Whitaker is personally. And I think Whitaker's the better fighter. Like, I don't think most will argue that he's the more skilled fighter. He's the more skilled striker. I think that jab is going to be there all day for him. I think that the footwork is much better. The defense is much better. I mean, Krylov is just an absolute punching bag. The question is, maybe can Krylov grapple here, right? Because Whitaker does have very good takedown defense. He's not easy to take down, but the guys who have taken him down, the guys who have given him a little bit of a problem on the ground are the bigger guys, the more physical guys at 185, DDP, RDR, those kinds of guys. But you look at RDR now, I will preface it with the fact that RDR is not a good wrestler. His jiu-jitsu is very good. He's a terrible wrestler. But he went 2-12 on Whitaker, right? Krylov, I think, is going to be a little bit more successful with it if he's going for it, but I don't think he's going to control Bobby, honestly. I really don't. I think Whitaker's going to pop back up when he does get taken down. Of course, I'm worried about him getting cracked too. Like, his chin is obviously declining a little bit also, and Krylov is a 205er who hits very hard. You can't take that away from him, and he's very aggressive, so he's going to be in Whitaker's face. But the more this line comes down, the more I get tempted. I haven't done it yet, but I wanted to move a little bit more because I'm not super comfortable with the move up in weight, and then I'm probably going to make the play on Whitaker because I think he's the better fighter and the less washed guy. It's just I don't really understand why he went up to 205.
Fair enough. All right, we got one for Knuckles there. Eric, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm not too excited about this fight either because first things first, I think Krylov, there was a situation in his country and he just decided, to defend his country. That's great. That's awesome. But he also lost years of prime, and when he came back and he was supposed to face Reyes, I said, I just don't like fighters that take long layoffs. And that was like a 2-year layoff. And he went and got knocked out in the first round. I cashed in big. That was last year, I believe. And then against Goose Cup, same thing happened. I said, guys, watch. And this guy's young. He's hungry. He has been active, and he's going to get knocked out. He's going to knock out Krylov. And he did just that. And then he went and fought Bukauskas, who is a good fighter, but he's not an elite fighter. Like, he hasn't touched, like I call this there's a ceiling. There's a glass ceiling that once you touch it, you either break it, you break through, and then you go to the top, or you come down crashing with the reality that you're just not gonna go up there. And that happens to a lot of fighters, and that's what happened with Bukauskas. In the case of Robert Whitaker, who has he lost to over the past 6 years? Adesanya, Dricus, and what's the RDR and Chimaev.
Oh yeah,
three of those guys are former world champions. And I don't know. I don't like the whole going up in weight thing because in general, Bobby Knuckles is not a big guy, neither for welterweight or for middleweight. And now he's in light heavyweight division. Story says that guys that move up in weight in that particular weight class coming from middleweight haven't done that well. Chris Weidman got knocked out. Luke Rockhold got knocked out. Jacare Souza lost to Jan Blachowicz, and I don't know. That's the whole thing that is kind of like in my mind is just something doesn't click with this whole movement. But that being said, I'm gonna pick Bobby Knuckles because, like I said, he has only lost to former world champions and the Reader, who was a close fight, but he ended up losing. So Bobby Knuckles is a pick. Stay away from this fight.
Fair enough. Steven, what side are you on?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what a lot of Couch and TKODDS said. Earlier in the week when I started taping, Whitaker was kind of around that minus 190, minus 185 range. So when the line was there, I thought it was pretty clearly dog or pass. I think, there was some value on Krylov at that point. But, and I kind of said, if the line drops, down a little bit, then I might consider. But yeah, just as both these guys mentioned, like just going up in weight, and the fact that Whitaker wasn't a big welterweight, wasn't a big middleweight, I definitely don't love that. However, I do think his sort of karate blitzing style here can work, and I think he's going to be quick on the feet, can stop the takedowns. I think he could look good. So yeah, initially I was saying I don't want anything to do with this fight. As the line keeps dropping, I may end up on a Bobby Knuckles just money line. But yeah, it's definitely scary just with him going up in weight. And there's also rumors that it could be his retirement fight. I guess Whitaker's bringing all of his kids and his family to this fight, which if that's true, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Again, I just heard it, don't know if it's true or not. But yeah, the pick, and based on the tape told me to take Robert Whitaker, but not sure if I end up getting involved in this one.
That's the first I've heard about this being a retirement fight, but he definitely, I can confirm, he did bring his family with him to the fight. So that's interesting. Yeah, this is the biggest stay away fight on the card for me. But yeah, I guess I went with Whitaker. Mostly just think he's a better fighter. It's funny because both of them do that blitz. Like both of them have that karate blitz as their like primary style, and both guys can get countered on the way in. So I think it's going to be an interesting thing where like whoever blitzes first is going to get countered actually, and probably not win. So I think the person that gets countered on the entry first is going to be the one that loses.
You know how they both throw that blitz head kick where they kind of just crash in and throw it? What if they do it at the same time?
Dude, that would be cinema. What if we get a double knockout? Let's go. Like
we need one. It hasn't happened yet.
Dude, that'd be so not at the UFC level. We've seen it on the regionals.
We got close a couple years ago. What fight was it? There was a fight where they knocked each other down, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
who
I can
was.
like picture it.
It was after 2020, but not within the last year.
I'll stew on it as we get to as we go through this next one. But yeah, because I definitely know exactly what we're talking about. But we can kick off the main card because we are now at the main card. King Green, Terrence McKinney. Eric's kicking this one off. Eric, who do you have, Terrence or King?
I got that round one.
That's the right answer.
Yeah, no. I'm not a big Terrence McKinney guy. I mean, he's exciting and everything, but a guy's just not trustworthy. He can get knocked out. He can knock you out. It's just that there's only one thing that's for sure, that he's just not gonna go to distance. The day that that guy goes to distance, I stop gambling because this is 100% rigged. Like that guy doesn't know the scorecards. He's just like what's the name of this guy? The Serbian guy, Uros Medic. Uros Medic. Those are guys that whenever I see them, I go like, okay, so I'm just gonna grab all my money and put that maybe round 3 is not gonna start or under 1.5 rounds or something like that, because there's always a guarantee that they're just not gonna go to the distance. Bobby Green is great. I mean, he has fought the better competition. That I want to point that out because that line is not that wide. So guys, please be careful in this fight because Bobby Green is only a plus 117 plus 117. That's not a big underdog difference. If you want to take a shot at Bobby Green, go for it because Bobby Green has fought the way better competition. He has fought world champions. Take this into account. Whoever is listening to me, if you haven't fought a world champion and your opponent has, there's a huge chance that you might end up losing this fight. Bobby Green fought the current welterweight champion Islam Makhachev. Guy fought what's the name of the other guy?
Tony Ferguson was the interim champ.
He fought Tony Ferguson. He fought Dustin Poirier. He fought the way better competition in he fought Fisiv. He fought Aloy Quinta, one guy that Khabib wasn't able to finish. And he fought Patty. He fought Rufy. I mean, he fought pretty much everyone in the lightweight division. But Terrence McKinney is very explosive. He could definitely win this fight. He could definitely put away Bobby Green. I'm not going to call him King Green. Bobby Green. Just bet on round 1 or under 1.5 rounds. That's it. Just don't put too much brain on this fight, because they both have terrible chins. Bobby Green got knocked out by Rufy, got knocked out by Drew Dover. Like, that chin has been exposed, and the guy is almost 40 years old. So don't take that risk. If you know me a little bit, you will find out that I don't like playing like juicy stuff or like the plus 1,000 or I prefer to play it safe. So I would just suggest that you guys put your money on under 1.5 rounds or round 1, because McKinney, he just doesn't like scorecards.
Absolutely. Steven, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously interesting fight. We all know it's about to happen. I think Green can survive the first bit of round 1 and then end up teaching him a crafty vet type lesson. I think, however, though, it's either Green or it's round 1 McKinney KO or just round 1 McKinney. I don't want to lay negative odds. That's kind of my thing with this fight. I think whatever you bet, you got to get some plus money. Or again, as TKO odds mentioned, you could definitely look at the under 1.5. However, that's also like minus 400. So not sure if it should happen, and there actually might be value on that. But yeah, that could be worth a look too. But yeah, obviously, yeah, if McKinney doesn't get him out of there soon, Green's been in there, as he mentioned, with a lot of quality competition. And there was an interview that Bobby was doing, just talking about how the fight sort of started. And I don't know, I just have a feeling that Green's gonna survive, and then after McKinney doesn't finish him, Green's gonna start talking trash to him, and I could see him end up kind of schooling him and putting it on him. So I think I'm gonna go Bobby Green here at plus money.
Fair enough. For me on this one, so in my video this week, I took Terrence, but it's just like a throwaway thing, because like I think the under hits, but all week I've been like, man, I kind of want to take Green. So I don't know. It's tough. Like Terrence is the kind of guy that like he could technically probably beat anybody in the entire division given the right circumstances. Like the dude, if you give in 30 seconds, that dude can put out just about anybody. But if he doesn't, like, I mean, we've seen him beat guys that he had no business beating, and we've seen him lose to guys that he had no business losing to. And Green said as much in his media day as well. So in reference to Terrence, I like Terrence. Terrence is a good guy. We've been on stream together before, so shout out to him. I like Bobby Green as well. So I don't know. I'm going to stick with the McKinney pick, just a pick, but really the pick doesn't matter. Like the under 1.5 is like, I'll be honest, I parlayed it. Like, yeah, and everybody's gonna be like, oh yeah, it's juicy, like whatever. But like in Green's last 5 fights, I mean, what 4 of them have finished before the 3rd round. And then McKinney, I don't think he's ever been over 1.5, like literally ever. So
no, he has one time.
Not in the UFC. I mean,
oh no.
Yeah,
he has a 3rd round finish on the regional.
Yeah, on the regional scene. In the UFC, he's never been past 1.5. Yeah, you're right about that though. He does have that 1/3 round before. But yeah, like the dude, like is our modern generation's Daniel Pineda, like Mr. Like I don't believe in scorecards, Daniel Pineda. So yeah, I'll take Terrence, I guess, for a pick. But either way, either side, I'm mostly picking Terrence because we've been on stream together before. So there you go. Couch, what do you got?
Yeah, big chalk's not my thing, you know that, but like minus 425, like I just pulled it up. It's 81% implied. Like that's probably short. If we're being real, that's probably short. I mean, Terrence, he experimented with trying to extend his fights. I think he spoke about it going into the Bonfim fight, I think it was. He's like, I'm good. I've been talking to my coaches. Like, I'm gonna, and I used to say all the time, like, I think if he just paces himself, he can go to a decision and win one. He can't do it, and he realized it himself. It takes away everything from what makes him him. And like you said, in the first 2 minutes, he can beat anybody. I think he can literally beat anybody. He can also get finished by anybody because he's very reckless. But when he lands, it seems absurd. I mean, I know Kyle Nelson was up a weight class, but like, oh my God. You know, it was what, like 2 punches and he was just down. So the power's crazy. And he's a really good wrestler too. I mean, remember what he did to Faraziem? Just sliced right through him. It was so slick also. But I do think he can put away Bobby early. It's just I can't pick somebody who has to get it done in the first 2 or 3 minutes and then they're going to lose. You know, if this was somebody like when he fought Eric Gonzalez, then okay, you know, I can lay favorite on him, chalk on him. But against Bobby, like Bobby's actually a good fighter. He's 39. I do think he's declining a little bit, obviously, but he's still looking pretty good. He got that finish against Zellhuber. He got that sub against Stevens. And there's nothing, I don't think there's anything to say that he can't knock out McKinney early either. Like he can catch McKinney coming in. Ribovich caught him clean with that. It was what? It was a kick. Like I do think he can catch him early. And if he doesn't catch him early, I think he just needs to survive. And then in the second round, I think he'll destroy him. Can you imagine Terrence stuck on the feet with Bobby throwing 50 significant strikes in the second round? Terrence is going to go down. But the concern is just Bobby Green's going to have his hands down. And it would be the most Bobby Green thing ever for him to come out, hands down by his waist, talking some kind of crap. And McKinney just flies across the octagon with a flying knee and just ices him immediately. I think that's a very real possibility also. But I did end up picking Bobby Green, and I think there's value. I think he should probably be the favorite. Like I would probably flip the line, make it slight favorite for Bobby Green because Terrence is very front loaded here. And that's where I would have said it. So I think there's value there, and I'll take Green.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Moving on to the flyweights, probably the most exciting division in the sport. We have Brandon Royval taking on.
I wanted to say something, but that's okay.
Oh, you haven't said anything on that?
No, I wanted to say something about this fight.
To add to it. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the reason that this fight is opening the main card is because they know 100% sure that this is going to be a finish, an early finish, and everybody's going to open their eyes as the fight starts. And it's the position of this fight being the opener of the main card is because they want people to tune in. So that round one, it's for sure that's going to happen.
I agree. I mean, like if it doesn't end in round one, it's like 10 seconds into round two. So that's almost certainly. So there we go. We've got our flyweights, Brandon Royval taking on Loney Kavanaugh. I believe Loney is how you say that. Steven is kicking us off on this one, if I am correct. Who do you got?
For me here, got to go with my guy, Loney Kavanaugh. I'm a big fan of this dude. Love the way he fights. Love how violent he is. Obviously had the fight against Charles Johnson where kind of, learned a bit of a lesson. Had an awesome bounce back, short notice replacement in Mexico City against Moreno. Looked like an absolute world beater in that fight. And Royval, I mean, he's only 33, but he's been in some wars and he's taken a lot of damage, especially in his last two. I mean, with that fight of the night, fight of the year candidate with Joshua Van, obviously took a lot of damage in that one. And then right after they feed him to Manel Cap. So the UFC definitely isn't doing Royval any favors. And a couple like years ago as well, he had the stuff with like the concussion. There was some stuff going on with his like concussion, and it wasn't too good. So I just think he's on the decline, and there are things to like about him for sure. But I just think Kavanaugh here is gonna look like a stud. He's either gonna piece him up and win a clean decision, or I also would not be shocked at all if he gets the knockout here. I think he's gonna hurt Royval. I'd be shocked if he didn't hurt Royval at some point in this fight. So I think Loney Kavanaugh here is definitely the way to go.
All right, we got one for Kavanaugh. I tend to think Royval is live, but I can't get to him. For a lot of the reasons that Steven was saying is like, I mean, he's taken a ton of damage lately, like a ton. And yeah, Kavanaugh does hit pretty hard. So though I can't get, the only way I get to Kavanaugh is if I love a gimmick parlay because I'm a dork like that. And the British invasion, right? It's like the new British invasion. We got 3 of them on this card. It's like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Like it's like we got the the three Brits coming in looking to get the parlay going. So if the only way I end up getting to a Kavanaugh play would be if I do that, because I do think Royval is live. He's fought for the title multiple times. He's had very competitive fights with top level fighters, with multiple champions, losing like close decisions to, Pantoja, Van, stuff like that, beating guys that are absolutely fantastic fighters. So he's definitely live, but man, he's taking so much damage. So I've got to go with Kavanaugh. But like I said, the only way I get to a Kavanaugh play is if I play that gimmick parlay. So, Couch, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I figured out who the double knockdown was, by the way. Trezano Choi in 2022.
That's it. Dude, Mike Trezano, shout out. I always liked that guy, man. I always rooted for him.
Me too. I played him against Klein back in the day, and I cashed there.
Is he still fighting?
If he is, he hasn't been doing well. I remember looking at him a while ago. Let me see.
Man, I should hit that guy up and see if I can get him for an interview.
Probably could.
You think?
He left the UFC winning.
Oh, he's been doing bare knuckle, but he hasn't fought in a year.
Oh, okay, dude, I bet I could actually get an interview with that. I'm gonna hit him up because
definitely
good for him. I always liked him. Anyway, go ahead and do the breakdown.
Yeah, so for me, I like Kavanaugh here. I think he's the truth. I played him against Moreno. I've been talking about him for a while. I think he's really, really good. And, it's fun. It's just crazy. Like, people were giving him no chance against Moreno. I remember the narratives. Like, I remember people saying, like, oh, he has terrible cardio. He's not going to be able to handle it. He's going up to elevation. He's tired against Charles Johnson. And then he pulled up on short notice at elevation and just smoked Moreno over 5 rounds. He didn't knock him out. He beat him over 5 rounds. He outskilled him and just outclassed him and outstruck him. And it was a really impressive performance. And he's still young. He's still young. He's still improving. He's still getting better. And the CJ knockout is probably one of the best things that's ever happened to him. He probably needed it. And yeah, I think Royval's a tricky matchup. He always brings it. He's an absolute dog. He'll throw a ton of volume if you don't put him away. And if you take him to the ground, he's going to be very dangerous. And he thrives in a brawl, and he's very good at turning fights into brawls. But Kavanaugh is going to be faster. Kavanaugh has taken way less damage. I mean, Royval has been hit in the head how many times? It has to be close to 1,000 at this point. I mean, it was just
over 1,000.
Yeah, it was just 200 over from Van, and that's the other thing. His most recent fights, he takes 200 significant strikes from Van to the point where in the 3rd round, his body literally said, "Please get me out of here," and he went down. And then he gets knocked out by Kopp. I understand it's Kopp. Kopp very well might be champion next year, but these are bad things to happen to you over and over again, back to back. And then you're coming in and fighting another striker who's also very fast and who can find that shin. And I just don't think it's a good thing for Royval. So I think more likely than not, Kavanaugh gets it done. Definitely a tricky matchup for him, and maybe not a step up, probably around the same level as Moreno, just presents different challenges. But I think he passes this test.
Yeah. I just asked AI what his Brandon Royval's total absorbed significant strikes are, and they can't be right. They say it's only 419 in the UFC. I don't think that's anywhere close.
Here, hold up. I have it up. Actually,
is that right? Because
how much did it say?
419.
You know why it is? It's because up until 2023, all his fights ended pretty quick.
That's true. Okay, so yeah, maybe it is right.
I'm gonna add it up.
Fight that was like half of those.
Yeah, Roy. I think Van was literally half of those,
if not more than half, actually.
And then there was Moreno right before that, landed 112. Pantoja 95. No, it's definitely more than what AI told you.
This said 419 in his UFC career, and I was like, "There's no way."
No, it's closer to 500.
That's fair. There you go. Well,
yeah,
something. Eric, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I gotta go with the waves of you guys, because the thing with Royval is that he has had the better competition. He has fought the world champions, and that's a big factor in my analysis. If you have fought world champions, I'm probably gonna pick you. Thing is that he has taken so much damage over the past 2 fights. And that last fight against Kopp was just a brutal knockout. And unless Lonnie Kavanagh ends up like gassing out like he did against Charles Johnson, I just kind of see a path to victory where he kind of moves around, punches Royval. Royval is not like the most elite striker ever. He's just like a dog. Like he has a dog in him that makes him fight really good fights. That's the reason why he was able to beat Moreno in Mexico, and then he went to this awesome fight against Van. But I think it was Couch Warrior said his body just told him in the last round, just, hey, get me out of here, man. I'm done. And I kind of see Kavanagh like making an intelligent fight, because he just cannot do the same thing that he did against Johnson, because he took he ended up emptying the gas in the second round, and then he had nothing left, and then he just gassed out, and Johnson was able to knock him out. If he plays it smart like he did against Moreno, which was for 5 rounds, here in 3 he should be able to pull it off. I kind of see a clear decision for Lonnie Kavanagh getting it done in 3 rounds.
Okay, we've got everybody on Kavanagh. Okay, we got 3 fights left. Featured fight of the night. Corey Sandhagen takes on Mario Bautista in the bantamweight division. I believe I am kicking this one off. And guys, I cannot understand why the line is this close, and it almost is making me hesitant, because Corey Sandhagen's one of the best fighters on the planet. I mean, he's not the champion, but he's like the next rung below. And I think Mario Bautista is a fantastic fighter. I think Corey Sandhagen's just the next level past that. I don't know. I don't know why he's such a slight favorite. Was he minus 135 or something like that? Yeah, minus 135. That's crazy to me. So yeah, it's actually got me scared off of. I haven't bet him yet because I'm wondering what's going on here, and if somebody knows something I don't know. But yeah, I think Corey Sandhagen should win this thing pretty comfortably. I mean, he smoked him the first time, but that was kind of a long time ago in Mario's debut. But yes, I think he's still the better fighter. So unless you you get to the title fight and then you don't win it and then you have a drop off type of thing, I don't know. But Sandhagen should be the side for me. So I guess I'll take him, but and still might get to the window on him. We'll see. Couch, what are your thoughts?
What fight are we talking about again? I blanked out. Bautista Sandhagen.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have a strong read on this fight, honestly. I really don't. I tried. I think they're really well matched. I'm hearing a lot about Bautista's grappling and Bautista's wrestling, and up until recently, he's also struggled with grappling. And I don't consider him that amazing of a wrestler. Yeah, he did it to Vinicius, and he looked good doing it. But I think Sandhagen's really improved the counter grappling. I think the guys giving him problems are much better wrestlers than Bautista is, and even then, he's hard to control. I mean, Merab needed 20 takedowns for a reason. It's because Corey got up 19 times. So at the end of the day, I do feel like Corey's still the better fighter. I feel like he's just a little bit slicker of a striker. I think he's a little bit more technical. I think he's got a few more weapons on the feet. And I think he might be a little bit more dangerous than Bautista too. And I personally think the grappling's a wash. I don't think we're going to see a lot of ground time. I think maybe Bautista shoots. Maybe he gets him down. I don't think he does much with it. So I think it comes down to a striking affair. I think it's going to be close. Maybe Bautista paces him. Maybe Bautista can clinch him up a little bit like he did Aldo. But I'll pick Corey. I just don't think there's any value. I think the line's right.
There we go. I mean, he did sub him the first time, so he's clearly got some grappling skill there. So yeah, I think that's fair. Eric, what are your thoughts?
Well, I normally tend to see a pattern in most rematches around combat sports. That goes for both boxing and MMA. And the rematches are supposed to be kind of different than the first fight. Unless your name is Volkanovski and you fight Max Holloway or Diego Lopez, most rematches have a different outcome, a completely different outcome. It's either the guy that lost the first fight wins the second fight, or the guy that won the first fight wins the second fight with a different method. If it was a knockout, then he gets a decision. If it was a decision, now he gets a knockout. So I mean, I'm gonna take a fly here, a shot at Mario. Not confident, of course, because I'm not a huge underdog type of guy. I play favorites most of the time. But I just see that this fight is supposed to be different. This fight should go different from the first fight. Look, unless you're the diamond. Yeah, the first fight against Max, he beat Max via submission. Then the second fight, he won via decision, and then he lost the third fight. You know, everything something different happens every time. I'm gonna take a shot at Mario, but I think this fight is gonna go over 2.5 rounds, something like that. It's gonna go maybe a decision. Yeah, Connor too. First fight he beat Dusty, and then he lost the second one, and then he lost the third one. So something different is definitely gonna happen here, and I'm just gonna take a shot at Mario.
Fair enough. Got Mario, two for Corey, one for Mario. Steven, what side are you on?
Yeah, this is one of the tougher fights on the card for me. It's kind of one that I've gone back and forth on a little bit. Like a lot of you guys brought up points that I agree with. Like I do think Sandhagen is still like slightly the better fighter or the better fighter. However, I like what TKODDS brought up. Like typically we see rematches don't look the same, and typically, you know, at least recently we've seen a lot of times in the UFC, it's like when they're giving somebody a rematch, it's because they want a different result to happen. They want the person who lost the fight to sort of get their lick back or get their revenge is kind of how I see it. And also, like, yeah, 138, you brought up, like, why is Sandhagen, you know, only minus 135? I think it's a good question. And I think, honestly, a lot of what plays into that is just that, you know, Batista has looked great as of late. He's also jacked too. Like, he's definitely you know, a different build and a different fighter from when they first fought. And also too with Sandhagen, you know, fighting for the belt in his last fight and losing, you know, kind of the saying, it's like there's only one way to go is kind of down from here. But I do like that Sandhagen's with Trevor Whitman. Obviously, he's an excellent mind for the game, one of the better coaches in my opinion. However, I do think Bautista is a smart fighter as well. And I do think, like Coach was mentioning, he's going to come and look to wrestle here now. Is he going to have the most success with that? That's the $1 million question, because I don't really give Mario that much finishing upside. I think if he wins, it's likely a close decision, maybe a split decision where it's, you know, takedowns, maybe some ground and pound, a lot of control. That's kind of how I see him winning, which I think is possible. And Sandhagen, I do give more finishing upside, but even then, I see it, if he wins, it's likely a decision too. So I think the values on Batista here, I think it was a little better, obviously, when you were getting, plus 130, kind of around that range. So on the show I did, and like watching tape, I picked Sandhagen, but kind of like TKODDS mentioned, I kind of have a weird feeling Batista gets this done in 29-28 or a split decision. So I'm going to pick Sandhagen, but as far as a bet, I think it would be Batista or pass for me here.
There we go. All right. Well, seems like this is a close fight, and it makes sense why I'm hesitant now, because, like, I feel like Corey should win, no problem. But then, like, everybody's giving me good reasons not to feel that way. So this might end up being a crack a root beer style fight. We'll see.
It's an easy pass, in my opinion, at this line.
There you go. That's the thing. Like, to me, I saw that line. I'm like, is this a gift? What's going on here? Like, people were giving Corey a chance to beat Merab. Like, you heard when you were watching the breakdowns, how many people picked Corey Sandhagen to beat Merab? It was quite a few. And then, you know, now,
yeah, people picked him, but he still closed like plus 300.
That's true, but like but in this one, I haven't heard a lot of people pick Mario, but Corey's like barely a favorite. So I was like, well, but
You
now
haven't heard a lot of people pick Mario?
Not a ton.
Oh,
then
dude.
again, I've also stopped listening to I guess a lot of people lately. So maybe I would just like stop listening to all the people that pick Mario. I don't know.
There's a lot of Mario love. A lot of
Has
Mario
there been?
love.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, there you go. Okay. Maybe I will pass then. Maybe that's a pass. Mind freak. Better late than never, bud. Better late than never. Good to see you. We'll move on. We've got the co-main event and potentially the last leg of the British Invasion parlay. Let's see who is starting this. It's Couch starting this one off. Who do you got? Do you have Benoit Saint-Denis or Paddy Pimblett in the co-main event?
I'm going to break this one down, and then I'm going to do the main and head out, Tyler, because I got to wake up early tomorrow. But for this one, really interesting fight. I'm a little surprised by all the Paddy love. I guess I can understand it to an extent, but I just feel like a lot of what I've heard is predicated on the fact of just like, oh, like look what Moicano did to BSD. Look what he did to him in the first round. And it's like, yes, that wasn't a great look. But like, A, I don't think Moicano and Paddy grapple similarly. I don't think Paddy has that kind of ground and pound either. And B, outside of the damage aspect there, BSD won the second round, and he was coming back into that fight. It's just that he could not continue. He couldn't see. But
yeah,
I just don't think Paddy's going to do that here. And when I look at it, the most important factor for me is, okay, they're both good grapplers, fine. Neither to me is a standout striker. You know, I think Paddy's maybe a little bit of a better striker, maybe has a little bit more in his toolbox. Saint-Denis kind of just a jab, some wild swings, and a head kick or a body kick, and then he rushes in for the takedown. So I guess Paddy's a better striker. Never thought I'd say that. But I don't think it's a big difference, and I think BSD does hit harder. But what I do think is the difference maker is, like I said, they're both good grapplers, but one of them is a significantly better offensive and defensive wrestler. And in my opinion, that's BSD. I think offensively, he's a better wrestler. And defensively, I think he has better takedown defense. I don't think Paddy has good takedown defense. He's been taken down many times by many different fighters. Gaethje took him down multiple times. Gordon took him down, I think it was 3 times. Levitt was taking him down also early. I think he took him down in the second before he got subbed. Paddy's very dangerous on the ground. He's got very good jiu-jitsu, very good scrambling, but he's not a great wrestler. He's just not. So I don't think he's going to be taking BSD down a lot. Maybe BSD gets a little bit overzealous in positions and falls off. That could happen, and then he'll be maybe in a little bit of trouble. But ultimately, I feel like it comes down to the fact that BSD is the one who can dictate where the fight takes place. He's the one who's going to be a little bit more dominant, in my opinion, on the ground. And I think that he's more dangerous in the stand-up in terms of he just has more power. So I like BSD to get it done here. And, yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right. So Couch is on BSD, and then you were going to hit the main.
Oh, yeah, let me do that main, yeah and then I'll head out. And based off of your head shaking, I'm going to assume you're on Paddy?
We'll see. I mean, it's the British Invasion.
I thought so.
The third wave. We've already had 2.
I know you too well. How long have we been doing this already? 2-3 years?
A while. Yeah, definitely a while.
But yeah, so main event, not much to say. Look, Conor McGregor's a special fighter, a once in a lifetime talent, and just personality. He hasn't fought in 5 years. He hasn't won in 6 years. You know, I don't really care that much about the fact that Max is coming up in weight. I think that 170 isn't an ideal weight class for Max, but I don't consider Conor a real 170 either. He has one welterweight fight. He is going to be the stockier, bigger guy. He's definitely filled into the frame over the years that he's been out. But I just don't – I think the ring rust is going to be pretty significant. I think Conor's going to have a few flashy moments early. Maybe he even hurts Max. I think can he knock him out? Of course he can. You know, power is one of the last things to go, and it is still Conor McGregor. But I think after those few flashy moments, I think Holloway's just going to start to put it on him. I think 5 rounds is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea for Conor McGregor. And actually giving him someone who will push him and bring him to those 5 rounds if it comes to it, I don't think is a great idea. And I'm pretty confident that they're trying to set up a trilogy here. I don't think narrative plays as much of a part, but just worth mentioning. So for me, I like Max. I think he probably finishes him in the 2nd or 3rd round. And
there you go.
Yeah, thanks for
shout out anything you got going on like the rest of the week, and then we'll get you out of here.
Yes, sir. I'm going to try to put up shorts tomorrow for anybody who likes those. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I put up a 1 minute or shorter video for, it used to be every fight on the card. It's gotten to be a little bit too much, and I realized that people stopped watching my actual videos. There are some people who don't even know that I do a full podcast. I won't post shorts for 1 week, and they're like, oh, you stopped doing prediction videos? I was like, no, I went live Tuesday. So right now I'm doing shorts only for the main card. I'm going to put those up tomorrow morning. And if you want to listen to another hour of me talking, you can watch my Tuesday show also. As always, Tyler, it was a pleasure. Thanks for co-hosting with me. Steve, TKO, thank you guys for tuning in, for coming on. It was a pleasure breaking down fights with you guys, and thank you to everybody watching. Appreciate you guys always. Peace, guys. Good luck this weekend.
See you, Couch.
See you, Coach.
See you,
Take
bro.
care.
All right, back to the co-main event. BSD versus Patty. Let's see. Eric, you are up on deck for this one. What do you got?
Yeah, I gotta be honest. The reality about Patty Pimblett is that he had a very built path to get to where he eventually went in his fight against Justin Gaethje. Because I'm gonna take a little bit of time here. I'm not sure if I can overextend too much.
Go
But
right ahead.
ever since Michael Bisping retired, UFC has been desperate to get that UK star. Because in case you guys don't know, UFC is it's a fighting company, but it's also a marketing company, and it's a company that it's supposed to build stars to put asses on seats. That's how it works. It works in the US, it works in Brazil, it works in Mexico, it works in Australia, it works in the UK, and now it's also working in France because they have a French interim champion, and they are also always trying to get that Asian market with China and everything. So Patty Pimblett, if you look at his record, like the kind of people that he faced when he started his UFC career, I mean, I don't even know who Luigi Vendramini is or was. I don't know who Rodrigo Vargas is. Then he fought Jordan Levitt, who was kind of like a decent fighter, not an elite fighter, but a decent fighter. He fought Jared Gordon, and then there were some red flags there. Doesn't look too great against an aging Tony Ferguson. Fights King Green, who is also old. And then he fought Michael Chandler, who hasn't won a fight in like 4 years, when he also fought Tony Ferguson. But case in point here is that, I mean, he has had a path of people who were not supposed to beat him and couldn't and didn't. Eventually, he runs into Justin Gaethje, who is an elite, top level former interim champion, who's kind of like a little bit outside of his prime, but still managed to put on a show against him. And then look what he did to Topuria later on last month. Benoit Saint-Denis, it's also another star from another country who they are all also trying to build. And here they have a situation where it's kind of like a win-win situation for UFC, not for the fighters, but for UFC, because there's a lot of money in France and there's a lot of money in the UK, and either guy wins, that's a guarantee show or co-main event or main event in either country, Patty Pimblett or Benoit Saint-Denis. I'm pretty sure that this fight is not gonna go to distance, because Benoit Saint-Denis is kind of like a McKinney type of guy, like a Urus Medic type of guy. He just never goes to the scorecards. He has only gone to the scorecards once against Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos, and that was up in weight at 170 pounds. And I think it was a short notice debut for him. So,
and that one shouldn't have gone to the scorecards, if you remember watching that. The
yeah,
referee just wasn't going to stop it.
Yeah, the referee definitely bet on the decision there. Again, if you want to take a shot at Patty, that's great, because the only person that has actually beaten Patty is Justin Gaethje, who is the current champion. It's kind of like a situation of Diego Lopez, who has only lost to Evloev and Volkanovski, the number one contender and the champion. Here, Patty is in a similar situation. On the other hand, Benoit Saint-Denis lost to Moicano and lost to Poirier. Good losses. Moicano not so much, but just bet on maybe round one or two, and this that's it. If you want to take a shot at Patty, I mean, I can do it. I can take a shot at Patty just to maybe pick another underdog, because I'm not a huge underdog fan. I don't have that many underdogs on this card. But if you want to take a shot at Patty, just go for it. But definitely, this is not going to go to distance. This is probably going to be under 2.5 rounds. Benoit Saint-Denis doesn't have the best striking skills. and he doesn't have the best chin either. On the other hand, Paddy has a very good chin, so take that into account. He doesn't have a very good striking skills either, but he has a better chin, so keep that in mind.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm glad you pointed out that Santini doesn't go to decision, because like in the back of my head, I think I knew that, but I hadn't considered that. You're right. Like his only decision was that short notice debut that shouldn't have gone to decision. So that's interesting it's got me pondering some stuff. But Steven, what are your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, no, definitely some good points you brought up there. TKODDS, and I think we're gonna keep that trend going, and it ain't gonna go to a decision because Paddy is stopping the fight. BSD is getting stopped. And my reasoning for that is I've cashed with BSD. I've cashed fading him. That plus 200 on Dustin Poirier was one of my favorite underdog cashes I've had. And I cashed with BSD in his last fight. I had played, I think I had him in one parlay, and then also I played the inside the distance. And I honestly, my reasoning why I think Paddy's either gonna TKO or submit BSD is I think BSD is a poor decision maker. I think his fight IQ is very questionable. Like that Dan Hooker fight, watching him stay on the feet and eat body kick after body kick and just standing there, like I was like, what are you doing, man? And then when he takes him down, like, yeah, eventually he got him out of there, but like he should have got him out of there way sooner than he did. Like he was in mount, he's raining down elbows, and it's at the point where like he lands, 3 or 4 more, the fight gets stopped, and then he starts trying to go for submissions. It's like, dude, like what are you doing? So for me here, I can't trust him at chalk. And yeah, there's definitely people on both sides, obviously, and the line's close. The line indicates that as well. But for me here, I think Paddy he's going to be a better striker. And I think if BSD is going to look to wrestle like everybody is expecting, I think he's going to put himself into trouble. And I think Paddy can end up catching him, whether it's a front choke, a triangle, and an armbar. I think Paddy's a smarter fighter, and he's going to find a way to win, and BSD finds a way to lose, however you want to look at it. But for me, I like Paddy here. I think he gets a finish. I think Paddy at plus 125 or around that range. I think that's a solid underdog bet for sure.
There you go. All right. And to round it out here, I'm also going Paddy. And if you guys have been following the British Invasion third wave, right, we got beans on toast plus 395 for the parlay. So that's kind of cool. Where's Dixon when you need him, right? Dixon in the chat always asking for parlays, and dude's not even here tonight. So my boy's slipping. But yeah, if you play the third wave British Invasion parlay, it's plus 395 is what I'm getting. I haven't played it yet, but I'm so tempted to, just for fun. But I think Paddy gets it done. And originally I wasn't sure on method, and I'm still not necessarily sure on method, but the inside the distance at plus 250 is looking solid. So yeah, I might play Paddy inside the distance because BSD doesn't wear damage well. Like I don't know if his chin is necessarily bad, but he doesn't wear damage well, because when he is getting finished, I guess he got knocked out by Poirier, but in general, it's just like accumulation of damage. So yeah, I mean, it could be that, or it could be a sub. It could be because Paddy's slick on the ground. I do like Couch was saying before he took off. I do think that Santini can get takedowns here. I just don't know if that's the best move for him, because Paddy can reverse him. Paddy can sub him off his back. Like Paddy's slick on the mat.
He likes to go for that flying triangle too.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like, and when you look at who Paddy has lost to, obviously in the UFC, it's Gaethje. He lost to Soren Bach back in the day, who is a real smothering type of fighter. He also should have lost to my guy Juicy J, but that was a robbery there. So it is what it is. But the real ones know that Juicy J beat Paddy. But that was so long ago. That was put on at like featherweight. So I think Paddy can win this by a number of ways. So I'm going to take him, and probably inside the distance. But yeah, I'm liking it under now. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm really tempted to do the British Invasion third wave parlay. That just seems fun. Okay, so let's see. So Couch kicked off the last one. So that means Eric is kicking off the main event of the evening, which is Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, the rematch. But this one's up at 170. Correct me if I'm wrong, but have we ever seen in the history of the UFC two fighters have a rematch 2 weight classes up from the time that they fought the first time? I don't know that we have. I think this is a first. So
I don't think so.
Because that's pretty crazy, actually. Especially when one of those weight classes is a 15-pound jump. But yeah, we're at 170 pounds. Eric, you're kicking off Conor McGregor, Max Holloway. Who do you have?
Yeah, okay. Just like Couch said, this is a fight that people are gonna go like, okay, so McGregor is the underdog this time around. It's been 13 years since the first fight. They're all grown-up men now. They were in their 20s back then. Max Holloway was like 20 or 21 years old when this happened. McGregor, I believe. Yeah, I believe McGregor is like 38 now, and it's just I'm not a big fan of long layoffs, and this is a huge layoff. Like, it's been 5 years since that fight with Poirier where he broke his leg, and then he was using a cane, and then he went to do a movie, and I don't know. I mean, I read some stuff online saying that I think it was John Kavanagh who said that McGregor has been living in the gym since December, something like that. Some crazy stuff. I don't believe it. But the fact that he has been away for so long, it's a big red flag. However, I'm gonna say something that I'm not sure if it should be taken into account, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Max Holloway did his whole career at 145 pounds, then moved to 155, looked great against Gaethje, and then he defended against Poirier. He got his revenge and all that stuff last year. He was the main event of International Fight Week. Was it international? No, it was the goodbye for Poirier.
Oh yeah, it was in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. It was in Louisiana. My concern with the fact that people are picking Max is that this is at 170 pounds, a weight class that has Max has never fought at this weight class, and that's a concern for me. I'm not sure how it's gonna look like. I mean, the power should stay there. We just don't know how he's gonna handle it, because Conor has fought 170 before. He did against Nate Diaz. Mm-hmm. He did against Cerrone, and we know that he has built himself up, and for the movies and stuff, and is all bulked up, and that's the reason why he didn't want to do 155 pounds. I was 100% sure that he wasn't going to do 155 pounds for this fight. Again, I play it safe, guys. I'm not the juicy tipster that's going to tell you something to, buy a BMW on Sunday or buy a house in Dubai. This should not go to the scorecards, because the only 2 times that Conor McGregor has gone to distance was in the rematch against Nate Diaz, the second fight where he won via majority decision, and want to guess it? The fight against Max Holloway. Because all other Conor McGregor fights have ended inside the distance, whether it was be a knockout with him winning or losing via a submission against Khabib, or those times that he lost against Poirier, or the loss that he took with Nate Diaz in the first fight via submission. So I don't think McGregor is going to go to the scorecards. It's just something that he doesn't typically do. I do think this is probably going to end in the first 3 rounds, because I don't see an International Fight Weeks card in Las Vegas with so many, so much hype around the event, ending in a decision. We all know that through the years, most of these cards in the International Fight Week and in a huge knockout where everyone is talking about the card at the end of the night that happened with Pereira in 2024, I believe. And I'm not sure who fought last. I think it was it what's the name of the guy? The guy that quit on the stool, Ilya knocking out Charles Oliveira. So I see a knockout here. I see Max winning. My only concern is the weight class. The weight class is a concern, but I think it should be, maybe if you want to take a shot, maybe under 2.5 rounds or under 3.5 rounds if you want to play a little safer. But I think, yeah, there you go. Someone said it. I got under 2.5 rounds or under 3.5 rounds. That would be my play too, because I don't see this. And also, guys, take into account that McGregor does not have cardio. If this goes to the 4th round, McGregor is going to be like breathing heavily on the mouth. And Max, he's a cardio machine.
There we go. The under is the play. I agree. I mean, the under's the play for sure. Steven, what side are you on?
Yeah, for me here, it's got to be Max Holloway. I mean, looking at the opening odds on Bet Online, Holloway opened at minus 550 and McGregor was plus 420. So, I mean, like right there, getting Holloway now at around that minus 200 range, that's like pretty insane value. And yeah, no, definitely. I hear the things about the weight class and everything like that, but I just can't pick a guy who's coming off a serious injury, hasn't fought for 5 years. Yeah, no, I think this is Holloway. And looking at the odds too, like the books are expecting a knockout from Holloway here too. So yeah, I think you got to take Max. Maybe around 2-3 knockout is, I think, pretty likely.
Yeah. The only reason I haven't bet Max yet is because for some reason money is still coming in on McGregor, and I probably will be betting Max as soon as it hits -1, whatever. Because I think it's going to. For whatever reason, people are still betting on McGregor. Like literally since we've been on, money has come in on McGregor because I've been looking at the line and it has moved since. It's down to -214. It was minus like 220 something when we started the stream. I know that's not much, but it's like a 2-hour window. So, I mean, yeah, gotta go Max. I'm just waiting for the line to be right. I think if the thing that we could do is play like specific round knockouts, 2 or 3 or whatever, but I think then you're getting kind of cute when I think you can get just the Max Holloway money line at -1, whatever, I think is probably going to be the play. So yeah, give me Holloway to get it done. I think it's not that McGregor wasn't great at one point. I just don't think he's there anymore. At one point, he was fantastic. I don't think he is anymore. And it kind of happens, It's just that's the sad thing about the sport is sometimes like you can't have it forever. Not everybody can. So yeah, there we go. Weren't we all convinced that? Well, yes and no. There were quite a few people that were not quite a few. There was a handful of people that were on Gaethje there. I had a bet on him, but I didn't have him in my picks. So there's that. But
you know what I bet on that fight?
What was that?
Round 5 does not start.
Dude, you barely got that.
Wow. And I was sweating. I was like, when are you gonna stop the freaking fight, man?
Oh man, you couldn't have gotten any closer without that. That's just literally the round 4 was over.
I mean, I'm not sure if I should give away all my tips here for your viewers, but the reality of gambling, and especially in this sport in MMA, in all sports honestly, but especially in the sport that we follow, which is mixed martial arts, is that you're not supposed to. I mean, all favorites are not supposed to win. And what happened was that once Pereira lost to what's the name of the guy? Gone, which was kind of like a close fight. pretty much all favorites had won in that event. I was like, okay, so this is not. I always tell my people, gambling is not Alice in Wonderland. Because if it was like that, we would all be rich and famous and would be riding Aston Martins and living in fancy penthouses in Miami or Dubai or one of these fancy cities. So I told him, hey, if there's no upsets in this card that only has 7 fights, that only has 7 fights, just put some money on Gaethje in case something happens, because I know how main cards go in the UFC. When I have all favorites winning in the main card, I go like, no, one of these guys is going to lose, or 2, or even 3. So it's just not going to happen. Like favorites are supposed to lose in MMA. They're supposed to be upsets. In MMA, there's always like 4 or 5 upsets sometimes. So if there's not going to be that much, it's 3 or 2. And I knew that Gaethje had a chance. Once Pereira lost, I'll go like, okay, so I'm gonna put some money on Gaethje, not too much because I didn't want to lose, and all my money I put it on round 5 not to start. And then my colleague, the guy that does the podcast with me, he also bet on Gaethje because he said like, yeah, this cannot just go with all favorites winning. It just doesn't happen, because you're gonna win, you're gonna go like, hey, I'm winning, I'm making money, I'm making a lot of cash, all favorites winning, and then that underdog that nobody's expecting to win is going to make you lose money, because the house always wins. And that's why you need us analysts to tell you this, so you can, just know when to walk away, because I know when to walk away. Once I win in MMA, once I duplicate my money, I go like, okay, that's it. I'm not gambling. I take on my money, I cash out, and I send it to my account, and that's it. And then I start watching as a fan the last 2 fights, because the last 2 fights are the most difficult to hit the winner correctly. You know why?
100%.
Because you are betting. If you bet the favorite on the co-main event and the main event, you are betting against the 2 better fighters, the second 2 better fighters in the whole card. Because that is the reason why they are in the co-main and main event.
Word. That's the truth, man. Like, I don't usually bet main events. I might this one because Max Holloway, if we can get him down to -1, whatever, is a gift. But in general, I tend to stay away from main events unless there's like there's very few times. There's, like I said, I don't usually like to speak in absolutes, but in general, I try to stay away from main events. So, with that said, guys, we made it all the way through UFC 329. We've talked about 14 fights. We've given everybody all the analysis they could ever ask for. But now what we got to do is, hey, everybody, if you're still watching, hit the like button for us. And also, go follow these gentlemen here. Their links are in the description. One other thing I would like to do is pass it around so everybody can hype up what they've got going on. Let's start with Eric. And you typically do your breakdowns, like, for the most part, in Spanish. Is that correct?
Yeah, I handle the Latin American market, the Spanish speaking market. I got people from Mexico. I mean, I got some people from the US, but they speak Spanish. All the way down Mexico, Central America, South America, Colombia, Argentina, Chile. That's my people. And a good thing about my handling that niche, that market, is that not many people in Spanish do this job, this analysis job. They just don't do it, because some of them are kind of scared that people are gonna make fun of them, because in Latin America we tend to do lots of bullying. like people make fun of you if you fail a pick. People are gonna make fun of you. They're gonna put comments on it, and it's gonna be like really hard. So I handle that. Sometimes I try to do a little bit of English, not so much. I actually did a couple of months ago in the Canada card. I did something called Profit Pit with the MMA fortune teller. Not sure if you heard of him.
Oh,
the
I
MMA
think so.
fortune teller. Yeah, he does something called, he did something called Profit Pit. I think he's not doing it anymore, but he did that time, and it's basically a battle that for example, you against me, and you're gonna tell me you're gonna say some place. I'm gonna say some place in the exact same fights, mostly the main card. And I went against some guy called Rayfield. He has a YouTube channel called Roundtree MMA, and it was a battle. I won. Thank God I won, because I picked most lines that were playable but not too juicy, and I ended up winning. So that's what I do. I cover both MMA and boxing. Guys, if you wanna make real easy money, just bet on boxing. Is it like the easiest thing in the world? Like, you can bet live, or you can also bet before the fights. Lines are not that great, but sometimes you tend to find value in like the knockouts or the rounds or anything like that. Tonight there's a Australian card, and they pass it in the Fight Pass, UFC Fight Pass, and all favorites are gonna win. So it's pretty easy to win that. So yeah, I do that.
Favorites on this one.
Yeah, just parlay the favorites. In the last fight, Max McIntyre, that guy's gonna win by knockout. So bet your house on that.
There you go.
Yes, that's what we do.
Awesome. Okay, so follow him, especially if you speak Spanish. Check that out. You do post some stuff in English, so you can still get some value there if you do speak the only English. That is awesome. Plus, YouTube's doing this thing really cool now, where they will auto dub your stuff in whatever language. What's that?
The YouTube system now dubs the videos and also adds subtitles.
Yeah.
To the content,
and they're pretty accurate.
Yeah,
it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So yeah. So if you're interested, check him out. Steven, I know you just started your channel literally this week. Like this week is the first. You have 10 subscribers, at least you did at the time before we started this live stream. So hopefully we can get you to 20 subscribers at least. So if you haven't subscribed to Steven's channel, Collective MMA, go do that. But Steven, give him your pitch.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely appreciate any support. Absolutely. And yeah, we'll have some more content coming. We got another UFC fight night next weekend. Duplessis and Usman, and we also got a good PFL event that I'll be covering as well. So yeah, we'll have some more content coming next week. We got a couple interviews cooking. We're scheduling for the next little bit here. So yeah, definitely come check us out. I do another show with The Wager Zone. He's another MMA content creator. So yeah, definitely appreciate any support, and make sure to follow TKODDS and 138. Both these guys really appreciate breaking down the fights with you guys. Hopefully we all do well this weekend, and hopefully we can cash in.
Absolutely.
So, I follow The Wager Zone because
nice.
I'm not sure if you guys do this, but I follow the UFC prediction tracker. That he follows all of us, and he lists us in some rankings and stuff. There's Couch Warriors there, and he's green. He's like one of the top predictors in the market. I tend to send them my picks like afterwards, because I speak Spanish and he doesn't speak Spanish. So I think eventually Collective MMA is gonna be there too, and he's probably gonna get checked soon. So good luck on that.
For sure, yeah. And the Wager Zone has been killing it too. He actually hooked me up with the guy's email and sort of showed me the process. So yeah. Moving forward, I'll definitely be getting my picks into them, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, check out Prediction Tracker as well. Cool page.
Heck yeah, guys. Well, all right. Well, we'll wrap it up. Last thing for me, anybody that wants to, it's $2.99 a month to be a channel member on my channel, and you can watch my breakdowns early. I've already got the UFC Oklahoma City card up for channel members. Put it up yesterday. I usually get it out the Wednesday before the card for that. But here's what else is important, guys. Contender Series is right around the corner. I'm going to start putting up Contender Series breakdowns like soon for channel members, but they're not going to go live for everybody else until like the couple days before, right? Also, yeah, shout out channel members. We got my boy Nate Brown right here. What's up, Nate? Yeah, he's gonna watch the replay tomorrow. You know what? He's been a channel member for ages. So 27 months, it says right there. That's, I don't know if you guys can do the math, but that's like more than 2 years. So shout out Nate. He's the man. But yeah, so if you're interested in Contender Series, this is the time of year to be a channel member. It's $2.99 a month. That's it. So, but anyway, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you. And with that, we will catch you guys all down the road.